Miami Heat, Pat Riley, that's coming up at halftime. Well, Patrick Ewing contributing here in the latter stages of the second quarter. Scored early and then sat out for a while, but he is overall now 4 of 4 for 12 points, and he has scored the last 7 Knick points.
Well, Bill Wennington trying to slide out and help on that little pick by Patrick Ewing, getting no help from behind, and the perfect alley-oop pass from Chris Childs.
Larry Johnson being played now by Judd Bushler. And Bushler using his knee from behind, and the foul is called. Chicago is over the limit. Johnson to the line. He's 2 of 4 at the line. Phil Jackson said after the Bulls win over the Knicks back in January in Chicago that Jeff Van Gundy made a tactical error in stirring it up with Michael Jordan. A tactical error. Phil always has a way of capturing it.
Well, ironically enough, Marv, it used to be when Michael had to score or did score in the 40s, in the 50s, it meant that his teammates weren't playing particularly well, or they were standing around and watching him. And many times you could steal a win from the Bulls when Michael had those big games. But since he's come back from baseball, that has really not been the case. But on that particular game, Michael getting 51, nobody else was doing much. Scottie Pippen early in that game, but nothing from anybody else after it.
The Knick lead is 7. Jordan able to protect off that double team. Shot clock at 5. And an offensive foul committed by Steve Kerr.
And that's about as close as Steve Kerr will come to a technical foul as he started to stalk the official. Actually, it was Michael Jordan's fault in this case by coming too quick before Steve Kerr was set. You saw on the left side of the screen that Steve Kerr wasn't set because Michael Jordan left it too early to set that screen up.
Now Childs playing the clock. Down to 10 on the shot clock. 5-second differential with the game clock. Oh, Wennington made contact through the shoulder into Childs. So with 11 and 6/10 seconds remaining in this first half, the Knicks back to the line with the Bulls over the limit.
Bill does not agree with that call. He would probably agree with the one where he grabbed Patrick Ewing on the same play, keeping Ewing from rolling to the basket. I guess he got 2 for 1 on the whole situation.
Chris Childs, a 79% free throw shooter, back on the floor after sitting out 5 games with the wrist injury.
Here it is on the left of your screen. You saw the right arm of Wennington hanging on to Ewing and the left one reaching out to pop Chris Childs. I don't know what he was arguing about.
So the Knick lead is now 8. And Rodman had it poked away. Starks over Jordan. And last touch by Oakley with 3 seconds remaining in the half.
This is when the Bulls usually run their home run play, the long pass to the top of the key, and then a pitch back to a wingman. And it looks like Jordan's going to be the top of the key man.
And Rodman, an excellent passer, fires on the hop. Picked off by Ewing. Here's Ewing going all the way. 1/10 of a second to go in the half. And Patrick Ewing shaken up. Rodman was back and stepped away. I think Ewing expected some contact. The steal leading to the drive and the stuff. And Ewing hearing it from the crowd as he hobbles his way back to the tunnel, headed to the Knick locker room.
You mentioned Rodman, a good passer. This was a bad one when Patrick Ewing can come up and pick it off that easily. And Patrick has one thing on his mind, take it to the basket, and that should have been a foul on Dennis Rodman on the low bridge as he bent down and hip-checked Ewing hard to the floor. Here's the collision. Should have been a foul.
Strong finish by the Knicks, and they're up by 10, 52-42. Patrick Ewing with 14 points, 9 coming in the second quarter. Michael Jordan opened in explosive fashion but cooled off. He has 13 at the half. Coming up in a moment, Bob Costas and the Prudential halftime report. in the first half. Hit a couple early and did not get into the offense to midway through the second quarter, and he took over.
Well, these are a couple of his early hoops, but then when he came back off the bench, he wanted the basketball. There's a perfect pass from Chris Childs, and then the steal, and then right at Dennis Rodman, and should have been a three-point play opportunity as Patrick making all 5 of his attempts. A very productive and efficient first half for Patrick.
And 9 of his 14 came in the second quarter. Let's check in with the mod.
All right, Marv, I told you before the game how fired up both these teams were. I talked to Patrick Ewing at halftime. He said that he just had a bruise on his back a little bit, but it'd have to take more than that to keep him out of a game like this. Marv?
All right, Ahmad, yes, Patrick Ewing also taking a fall right at the end of the first half on that drive off the steal from the errant pass thrown by Dennis Rodman. Third quarter underway. The Knicks have a 10-point lead. They've led by as many as 13. Larry Johnson tried to save it, stepped out, and the ball back to Chicago. Phil Jackson opening with Michael Jordan and Ron Harper in the backcourt. Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and Luke Longley up front. Longley playing with 3 fouls. Pippen for Longley. And Oakley with the rebound. The Bulls shot only 44% in the first half. The Knicks at 54% on 19 of 35 from the field.
Boy, Larry Johnson getting the ball at the top, not even looking at the basket, trying to be a passer, and Oakley gets one from the deep left corner. But it's obvious the Bulls have to get other people involved offensively, not just Michael Jordan. Scottie Pippen came out and got the first shot. He's going to have to pick it up offensively in this third quarter.
And Hugh Evans with the call. Offensive foul. Foul committed by Harper. That is his first. In a very quiet game for Ron Harper, who has not attempted a shot. In particular with Tony Kukoc out due to the injury, out with a strained arch in his right foot. The Bulls need offense from others.
Now, Ron Harper's just not the same player that he was last year. He had off-season surgery. He's not as quick or as lateral as he was defensively, and not much of an offensive threat. As Patrick Ewing keeps it going with his 6th field goal.
Ewing on fire. He is 6 of 6 from the field. And the Knicks have opened up a 14-point lead. It is their biggest of the game. Longley lost it on the double team. Child pushing down. Ewing had it knocked away by Harper. It will be Knick ball. They have 14 on the 24.
There's Patrick Ewing being given some ground by Luke Longley, who has the 3 personal fouls. And Luke knows that Patrick can take him off the dribble. Dared him to take the jumper, and he put it right in his eye.
The Knicks come in with 6 straight wins, 7 in their last 8, 17 of the last 20, and have been on a roll since the All-Star break. Johnson kept it alive, and Oakley converts. The Knicks lead is now 16. The crowd reacting to the Knicks play. A 16-point lead on the Bulls. And a foul called on Johnson. That is his 2nd.
Well, these are the kinds of plays that Chicago usually makes because of their quickness and athletic ability. Just active to loose balls. But this time it was Larry Johnson just knocking it off the one-hand attempt by Scottie Pippen right to his teammate Charles Oakley.
Chicago with 4 straight wins coming in, 11 of the last 12. Nolan Fine looking for help from the outside official.